A beautiful city by the beach. An escape from the harsher climates of the north.
There's a dead body in one of the units. Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
When a call comes in about a homicide,
every second, every minute, every hour, every day could be another life.
what they find is just the beginning.
Our eyes met, and then I knew a murderer is in my driveway.
There's a killer on the loose, but can authorities stop them before they strike again?
We have to do everything we can to bring our suspect to justice.
Fort Myers is the commercial center of Lee County, Florida. Between the weather and gorgeous beaches, it is the perfect escape for those looking to get away from the colder climates up north.
Fort Myers, and Lee County specifically, is a beautiful place. People come from all over the country to see the palm trees, the beautiful beaches, the resorts. It's really like a very quaint, beautiful place to travel and bring your family and bring your children with one of the lowest crime rates in the state of Florida.
We've got beautiful beaches, great restaurants, lots of things to do for the family, or if you might be single, it's a great place to live.
Tourism is a great thing here in Southwest Florida, particularly. When I say it has it all, we have everything from spring break, spring training, we have great restaurants. The beaches are second to none, from Boca Grande to Naples, Florida. And the families love to come because it's a very safe environment.
Pamela Hutchinson arrives in Fort Myers in early April 2018. She's in town for a friend's funeral, renting a condo for what is planned to be her 3-day-long stay.
Initially, she arrived, it was April 3rd in the afternoon, and she checked in with a specific credit card.
While Pamela is only in town for the funeral, she manages to get out and see at least a little bit of the city and even meet some new people.
A couple days later, the manager there received a phone call from the room stating, "Hey, I'm having such a great time here in Fort Myers. I want to extend my stay by a couple days."
When Pamela extends her stay, she gives a different credit card number than the one she used to initially pay for the condo, a fact that the manager notices. On April 9th at approximately 8:15 p.m., the manager of the condominium places a call to 911.
911, there's emergency. There's a dead body in one of the units. Okay, tell me exactly what happened. I got a phone call from our answering service that the water had shut down. Everything looked fine except for that room. The master bedroom was closed, but I went back in it and the door was blocked in going into the bathroom. So I just went and grabbed someone to go in with me because I just had an uncomfortable feeling about it. Mm-hmm. And so we just walked in and he peeked his head in and there was a dead body in there.
The 911 call that we received at the Lee County Sheriff's Office starts and begins our investigation.
We initially received a 911 call from the manager who stated that she found a deceased person in one of the rooms there. And so it came in initially as just a normal death investigation. And then obviously as things transpired and more investigation took place, we realized it was a homicide.
When police arrive on scene and begin to investigate the condo, their first step is to secure the body, leaving a more thorough inspection of the scene itself until they know what they may be dealing with.
So what we have is a death investigation unfolding. Now, we get calls like that quite frequently. Upon this one, when we arrive, our detectives begin to work the scene. It's a death investigation which quickly turns to a homicide.
We found the victim located on the floor in the bathroom of the master bedroom. And the door was actually shut. There was a towel placed at the base of the door. We're assuming to either hide the smell, hide the sound, whatever it might have been. And then also there was a towel that was actually draped over the victim as well.
The investigators discover that Pamela Hutchinson has been shot and left covered up by a towel in the bathroom.
So our detectives begin immediately working the scene, and they find our victim with apparent gunshot wound to the torso.
Cause of death was ruled homicide with a gunshot wound, and so what we found in the bathroom itself was specifically a pillow that had been used to muffle the sound. There was a gunshot defect in the pillow, and there was soot around it, which is indicative of close contact when a firearm was shot. And along with that, obviously, it appeared as if the victim had been there for a while, based upon the decomposition of the body.
Inside of Pamela's bathroom, fragments of a bullet are found in the ceiling, potentially matching Pamela's fatal wound.
Further investigation revealed, and we were able to recover a projectile that we later submitted for forensics testing. The room itself, pretty well kept, but it appeared, based upon my initial investigation, that it looked as if there was two people that were actually staying in the room, the master bedroom and then also a second bedroom as well. It looked like someone had been staying or at least stayed the night there.
Pamela's toothbrush is found in the bathroom sink. Police theorize that she's ambushed while brushing her teeth.
We did not notice any signs of a struggle. We didn't notice any sort of defensive marks on the victim. We did notice as we were going through the rooms and the condominium there that it appeared the victim's personal belongings, like her wallet, her personal identification, driver's license, and keys had all been removed from the condo.
This incident really rocked our county. I mean, people were worried. I was getting calls from the general public and the community saying, listen, should we be worried?
There's a killer on the loose, and authorities are going to have to act fast to stop them from striking again.
We knew we had our work cut out for us, and the safety of the public is, our utmost priority. And so that put a lot of pressure on us.
There's a lot of things unfolding, and we're entrenched, working immediately, as we always do, leaving no stone unturned, on a fact mission to find out we have a killer on the loose.
Pamela Hutchinson has come to the city of Fort Myers for a funeral. Days after she is originally meant to leave, she's found dead in her condo's bathroom, draped in a towel and with a gunshot wound in her torso. An investigation into the condominium's surveillance footage reveals that Pamela spent time with a woman of similar physical description to herself. And after this woman is seen taking Pamela's vehicle, she becomes the homicide case's lead suspect. After working through the surveillance footage, the next step is to try to identify the woman that is seen with Pamela.
We had assistance with our economic crimes unit who did some digging into her financial institutions, and we found that she had actually used her card at the restaurant there, so then that's why we paid them a visit and were able to get the video surveillance from there as well.
Detectives are shocked by what they see on the restaurant's surveillance footage.
We saw our victim and then also our suspect together. It looks as if they have known each other for a long time. Looks like they were close friends, even though based upon our investigation we knew that they were not, or they had just met recently.
Our victim has no idea there's a wolf in sheep's clothing standing right next to her, and our suspect is premeditated, and she has the ability to carry out the act of a homicide. It's an eye-opening thing for most people. When you see the video, you say, that's the last thing I ever would have thought our suspect was going to do, had planned to do, nor could she carry it out.
With the evidence at hand, investigators are able to piece together a version of what might have occurred during Pamela's trip. She arrives in town on April 3rd and is approached by their suspect on April 4th. The two become fast friends, But that relationship ends just as fast as it begins.
The night of April 5th, we see them both returning to the Marina Village at Snug Harbor, together going back towards the room.
Within approximately an hour after Pamela being seen on the surveillance footage for the last time, the suspect is seen exiting her condo alone.
We actually, again on video surveillance, were able to see around 8:30 p.m. on August 5th of 2018, the suspect come back out to the elevator landing area. And it appeared to me as if she were upset, very distraught. She might have even been crying. And at that point, we never saw our victim again on video surveillance. It was only our suspect.
It's believed that Pamela's murder takes place between these sightings.
She came and went over the course of the next, 12 to 18 hours, I would say, coming and going from the room down into the parking lot. She was taking bags out of the room. She was also bringing bags up into the room.
Pamela's similar appearance to the suspect is a potential motive for the homicide. With the stolen IDs and credit cards, the plan appears to have been identity theft.
We were able to locate the victim's vehicle, but then also we were able to find that the suspect had a vehicle of her own as well. And upon viewing the video surveillance, we could see her entering the victim's vehicle using the victim's keys, which she had taken, and transporting items back and forth from the room to the car.
Surveillance footage reveals the suspect getting into a white Escalade with Minnesota plates and moving it from the condo parking lot before returning later to take Pamela's vehicle.
On April 8th, I received a phone call because I was the on-call for the homicide unit from a sergeant of ours on Fort Myers Beach. And prior to that phone call, a BOLA, which is a be on the lookout for, went out to all of our units stating that there was a vehicle of interest that was used in a homicide up in Minnesota, and it provided the vehicle information.
That vehicle is a white Cadillac Escalade.
And so when he called me, he said, hey, I actually found that vehicle here on Fort Myers Beach. It was actually only about a mile away from the condominium. And so I said, okay, tow the vehicle to our evidence facility and I will follow up with the appropriate agency in the morning to see what they want us to do with it. So we, in a sense, had an idea that this female, our suspect now, might be in the area along with her vehicle, which obviously was recovered in the area.
Looking into the Escalade leads to the discovery of their suspect's name, Lois Riess.
My major concern was, is she going to do this again, and when will she do this again? We knew that she had stolen cash that's readily available to her, and she also has a vehicle to make her getaway. And so my initial concern was, we need to find her before she should do this again.
Pamela Hutchinson is found murdered by a gunshot wound in a Fort Myers condo after coming into town for a funeral. The investigation reveals a woman who has spent a lot of time with Pamela through her final days. This woman quickly becomes the prime suspect of the case. But when the police discover that this woman is Lois Riess, they learn this may not have been her first murder.
I was cleaning my garage and she pulled up in her pearl white colored Cadillac Escalade right behind my vehicles. And she got out of the car and I just noticed a gal with a pink shirt on. Thought it was somebody inquiring about rentals. And so I stepped forward and that's when our eyes met. I was just in shock. My heart skipped a beat and she just shook her head and looked down like she didn't want me to see her and said, oh, wrong house, and quick got in her Escalade and left. My husband happened to be on the phone with my daughter at that moment. My husband Rod says, Brianna, hang up the phone, you dial the sheriff's department, and we're gonna dial 911 down here. Let them know that Lois is in Fort Myers Beach.
Lee County Sheriff's Office.
Hi, I live in Minnesota. There is a missing person for a warrant out for arrest for possibly killing her husband. And my parents live on Fort Myers Beach down there, and she just drove by their house, and they're freaking out.
Prior to us learning about the homicide, Tess Coster had actually phoned the Lee County Sheriff's Office to say, hey, I had a suspicious incident happened at my house here on Fort Myers Beach, and I know that this lady is suspected of killing her husband up in Minnesota, and she was just doing her best to make us aware of it.
Okay, so she has a warrant, is that what you're saying?
Yes, for the possible murder of her husband and for sure for embezzling charges.
And now we find that our suspect is involved in another homicide in Minnesota, which makes things very challenging for us because now we have dual homicides that are being worked. We don't know where our suspect is, and while we want everyone's assistance, we got to be careful not to compromise anything or give any facts that could hurt this investigation.
Further investigation into Lois Riess reveals her actions over the past month in Blooming Prairie, Minnesota.
Blooming Prairie, Minnesota is a small town of about 2,500 people, quite close to the Iowa border. A lot of cornfields around, railroad track goes through it. Lois and Dave were married about 35 years. They had 3 children, super friendly, nice, sweet couple. Dave always was very jovial, had an infectious laugh, loved to tell jokes. He loved to talk about fishing, owned the waxworm farm, so that all went hand in hand. We started hearing that Dave had been coming to work and that he'd been sick and they didn't know where he was. Lois had told the workers at the wax farm that Dave was on a fishing trip. Well, they saw her in the truck, that Cadillac Escalade that Dave would have taken to the fishing trip. So people started questioning what was going on out there. So that's when the waxworm farm employees called the local police department, and I guess the Dodge County Sheriff's Department also got involved and searched the house and went inside and found him dead in the bathtub. That was approximately 10 days after he had gotten shot.
The homicide cases investigating the murders of Dave Riess and Pamela Hutchinson share many similarities, furthering the theory that they are committed by the same individual.
Both victims were found in the bathroom. Both victims had a towel draped over their bodies, and both were shot with what was believed to be a small caliber round. And knowing what she had done there, my concern was, when is she going to do this again? And so it made me angry and all the more motivated to catch her as soon as I could.
We knew our suspect has a gambling habit. We see her in casinos. She's enjoying her life like nothing happened. Premeditated and ice cold. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day could be another life. Wherever this suspect goes, she has the potential to kill again, and we know this. So we have to do everything we can to protect lives and bring our suspect to justice.
Lois Riess is the prime suspect in the murder of Pamela Hutchinson. But when the Florida authorities begin their search, they discover she is wanted for a possible murder in her hometown of Blooming Prairie, Minnesota, as well. Police from across the country have to work together to find her before she can kill again.
Once we knew and believed that she had probably left the area, once we saw her leave with the victim's vehicle, along with the financial information that we received from the Economic Crimes Unit, we were able to trace kind of her steps going north, what appeared to be out of Florida, and she made a stop in Ocala, Florida, at a Hilton hotel.
Lois is spotted several times after leaving Florida, including where she uses her own ID to claim a jackpot prize in a Louisiana casino. Finally, she winds up in South Padre Island, Texas.
I guess the tip came through and she was gambling, having a great time, had a meal. Again, life went on for our suspect. She did whatever she wanted to do. She was smiling. It was as if nothing happened.
Lois was at the Sea Ranch restaurant having dinner at the bar. Someone at that bar noticed her flip of her hair that had been showing on the news over and over again and called authorities and said, "I think your gal is sitting at the bar right now." They found the car in the parking lot around back somewhere and then surrounded the building and went in and got her.
It doesn't appear as if she is taken by surprise in any way. It's almost as if she knew it was coming and her time ran up.
I feel like Lois almost wanted to get caught. She just didn't put up any fight. She just got up and, oh, guess this is the end of my little trip here. Just gave up. This did teach me to be much more cautious, that people may not be what they appear to be. I always thought Lois was just the sweetest, nicest person. So what happened? And the next person that you talk to that could be a sweet, nice person might change on you.
My biggest thought, as the sheriff, the ball stops with you. You're in charge of everything law enforcement in your county. You're always thinking, did I do everything we possibly can? And I gotta tell you, I'm very, very proud of our team. Our detectives worked around the clock. They did an amazing job. And for that, the killer comes to justice.